Hey there, Gemini. Welcome to your reading for the week of October 13th. You have this third house card says communication. You have this Pisces card, it says sensitize. So maybe you need to communicate from a more sensitive place here, Gemini, or you need to pay attention to your communication. I actually feel, the Three of Cups is a pretty good card for kind of communicating with groups of people, communicating with the people around you just in general. So a lot of you, there could be a lot of communication this week. We'll see what else, comes up here, obviously. There could be a lot of people, I think really what I want to say is that you are the one that is getting attention, or you are the one that's commanding attention with your communication. Maybe that's a better way to put it with that Three of Cups. And, that's exactly what I would focus on. It really wouldn't surprise me, Gemini, if you in particular, again, Uranus is going to be in your sign for a while here. And so a lot of you, you're Gemini, you are communication. And, you might be able to use your communication to, build a following or to get attention. And I think over the next many, many years for you that you're going to be communicating more than ever. And, again, it's just something I would think about, right? And it's something that could lead to success in work, business, career, love, pretty much every area of your life. These people, they are celebrating this harvest around them here. And it reminds me of, there's a book out there called The Science of Getting Rich by Wallace Wattles. And in that book, this book was written in like 1920 or something like that, right? Or 1930, I can't remember. But anyway, it was written a long time ago. This guy was way ahead of his time, right? And he said that the quickest way to get abundance is to communicate an increase for everyone. Like, as in what he was saying is that everything we do should be an increase for the people that we're communicating with, selling to, everything like that, which is like the opposite of what corporations do today, right? And so again, I think that it's something that changed my life. That's what I'm trying to spit out here, Gemini. It's just something that, like, when I read that book many years ago, like, I started communicating more with increase in mind. Like, everything I do is like pushing people towards abundance and success and happiness and, all these good things, right? And I don't know, it seems to work for me. So I think that, just that little mindset shift of saying, like, what, I want to make sure that when people come to me that they're feeling, they're left feeling more abundant, or they're left feeling like their life is on the increase, or whatever that is. I don't know. That could be very helpful for you, especially if you do something like this, like YouTube or something else. Making sure that you're coming from that place of increase, and that doesn't have to be money. It could be anything, love, happiness, joy. All the things, right? I think that could really be very beneficial for you. You have the Eight of Cups. Eight of Cups is walking away from what no longer serves you, and that's, everybody is doing this right now. We just had those two eclipses in Pisces and Virgo. We have all these retrogrades going on as well. So, and, Mercury is going to go retrograde next month. Uranus is going to retrograde next month. And so, there's just a lot of clearing out at the end of the year here. And I think we're just being prepared for new things. It's pretty interesting to me that we had, Pluto will go direct this week of the 13th, and we had Pluto retrograde basically to the beginning of Aquarius, like 1.1 degrees or something like that of Aquarius. And, it's interesting that we're entering into the new year. By February, both Neptune and Saturn will be back in Aries. It's kind of like a fresh start year next year, 2026. And so I think a lot of us are, kind of doing that final clean out of our lives, our energy, of everything in our lives. And maybe we don't know where we're going. Like, he has no clue if he's going to find fulfillment or not, but he just knows that his past situation no longer serves him, and he's just willing to go on the adventure, right? And I feel that's you. You have the Four of Pentacles, letting go of things that you're holding on to, right? So there are probably things that, all of us are holding on to that we need to let go of. Again, very common energy. I don't think people realize, like, how hard Pluto going from Capricorn to Aquarius is. And this only happens every 280 whatever years, right? Because it takes Pluto 280 years to go all the way around, right? So or 200 whatever years it is. And so again, we will be dead the next time that Pluto comes back to Capricorn specifically, and we'll definitely be dead by the time it gets back to Aquarius. So, again, it's most generations don't experience Pluto going from Capricorn to Aquarius. And, that it is the challenge of letting go of things that have been established that brought you comfort and needing to create like true authentic comfort in your life. And that's like what the universe is trying to get us to do. So I think this is like the biggest challenge that everybody is dealing with right now. There are things that we think bring us security, but really they don't. And the universe could definitely be showing us that, right? The universe could definitely be saying like, nope, this thing you think is secure isn't. Now you need to build something that really is. With the Three of Cups, you have the Four of Wands. Four of Wands could be marriage. You do have some love in this reading. You've been getting love, but strong love readings with me lately. So if you're looking for love, definitely could be a new connection. Three of Cups, this could come through friends or, people that you know, or spending time with people that you know. So if you're looking for love, I would definitely be getting out there, spending time with people you care about. Because you could meet a person by going out, getting out of the house, right? And that's what I would do there. With the Eight of Cups, you have the King of Swords. Yeah, King of Swords is like knowledge and wisdom. And I think you are now implementing what you have learned. Again, Uranus in your sign is going to be good for you. As I always say, Uranus loves Gemini. Uranus is the higher octave of Mercury. So, Uranus loves being in your sign. And you could, as I've been encouraging you for like months now, I would be writing down your ideas, coming up with better plans, looking at the things that you're learning, implementing new knowledge, new ideas, because again, you're like a little bit of a genius right now, Gemini, and even though Uranus is going to retrograde into Taurus next month, it doesn't really matter. I would say it's already been in Gemini, and I would use that energy. And it's funny that we have Taurus right next to the King of Swords right here. With the Four of Pentacles, you have Taurus again. You have the King of Pentacles. Yeah, King of Pentacles is like playing it safe sometimes. I don't always feel this, but sometimes I do. King of Pentacles is good. He is wealth building. He does what works, and that is the problem. And it's a problem, but it really isn't. But it is at the same time. So he is doing what works in life, which is good, but he's not growing. He's not necessarily evolving. He's just doing what he has always done. And so the trick with the King of Pentacles is to, of course, keep doing what works. Don't change that. But also, maybe like 20% of the time, you should be experimenting with new ideas. So this goes for every aspect of your life: love, money, spiritually, work, business, career, all that stuff. You should be experimenting, trying new things, because that will increase your wealth. And that's what I would focus on there. Next, in the area of what's coming in for you, you have this Royal You card, which is great, and this Quieting the Mind card. Yeah, Uranus in your sign will have your brain bouncing around like imagine you have like 100 ping pong balls bouncing around inside your head, and you have all these ideas, plans, goals, wishes, dreams, just all zipping around inside. And so I think, doing something to practice quieting the mind would be a good idea. Going for walks, meditating, just telling your brain to slow down, all writing things down as well. One thing that changed my life is just writing. I'm not even a great writer, but just getting a yellow pad, which I have like a million of them somewhere around here. And, I use yellow pads for everything, writing notes for readings, remembering what I'm supposed to be doing. I put it on my yellow pads, right? And so just writing without thinking, getting all your ideas out on a piece of paper really could help you slow things down. The Royal You card is like a glow up type energy. So, some of you could be about to have a little bit of a glow up here. You have the Fool, the King of Pentacles, and the Seven of Swords. I said it in the 2025 readings that fortune favors the bold for sure in 2025, and also probably most of 2026. So we really have to make an impact. It's the whole point of Pluto and Aquarius. You have to stand out if you're going to do anything. Also, Neptune and Saturn in Aries. By February, they'll both have moved back into Aries. They're both retrograding into Pisces. Neptune will actually retrograde into Pisces this week, but once we get to the end of February, they'll both be back in Aries. And it's a very loud energy. And so if we can't just dip our toes in the water if we're going to start something. We have to start with a big ass splash. We have to cannonball into the deep end, as I always say. So I feel like the Fool is saying anything that's worth doing. My grandpa, he used to say to me, anything worth doing is worth doing right. Used to drive me crazy, right? But he was right. But I would say anything worth doing is worth making a humongous impact, even bigger, right? So it's like if you're going to start a business or, get into a relationship, start with a bang, and if you do that, then things will go very well. You have the King of Pentacles again. So again, a little bit of playing it safe energy. I don't really feel too bad about this. I think you're exploring changes. You have this Seven of Pentacles right next to him. And, the Seven of Pentacles can be a change in direction. Like I said, I think there are plenty of things you do that definitely work. I would keep doing those things, right? In work and business, love, health, pretty much everything. The things that don't work, I would walk away from with that Eight of Cups, and I would find new ways of doing things. And if you do that, then you'll probably be much more successful. You'll probably, experience much more abundance. And the King of Pentacles definitely wants you to increase your abundance. I think this reading, like I was saying at the beginning of the reading, I feel like it wants you to create come from an abundant perspective for everyone in your life as well. And, that could be very helpful. You have the Seven of Swords. Seven of Swords can be lying, cheating, stealing, but, really it's a good card. Golden cards in the tarot are meant to be positive no matter what. So he is sneaking away from this army in the background and he's stealing these swords. I think you always get this with me because I'm always saying that, this is your superpower right now, Gemini, and will be for years to come, is your ability to see another way, your ability to see a different way of doing things. And I know I'm speaking very generally here, but any ideas that you come up with where, it's like maybe the collective does things this way and you want to go this way, you should be going this way because, again, Gemini has the superpower of seeing a better way to do things, and doing things in a better way will probably lead to you standing out, having a glow up with that Royal You card, or getting attention or finding success. He's going to war in a different way. So I would say anything that you're wanting to accomplish, how can you do it in a better or different way? With the Fool, you have the Nine of Wands. Yeah, this is like second chance energy. Nine of Wands is not giving up on something. And, the Fool could say you're giving something one last chance. So some of you, I do feel that you could be kind of giving an idea or a plan or something that you've tried in the past that didn't work. You could be trying it again. The Nine of Wands is also my card of throwing stuff at the wall and seeing what sticks. So, it's a great card of experimentation. And with that King of Pentacles, it would be an amazing time for you to try new things and just see what works. With the King of Pentacles, you have the Justice card. Justice is balance. Again, I don't think this is necessarily... This is saying, don't play it safe, I feel it's saying that, with that King of Pentacles, he just maybe is maintaining the status quo in your reading. But is that all you want? Is the status quo? I don't think so. I think you're being pushed to greatness here, Gemini, and that's what I would be focusing on, is, kind of being willing to rock the boat, right? And that is Uranus and Gemini. Uranus and Gemini is definitely going to rock the boat, for sure. With the Seven of Swords, you have the King of Wands. Yeah, a great time to be bold, assertive, confident. You almost have the Emperor here. We're just missing the King of Cups. So if you get the King of Cups, some of you definitely could be attracting like an Emperor into your life if you're looking for love. The King of Wands is also a little bit of a visionary. I always say, people forget that, yeah, he's a Wands card, but he is innovative. He is a visionary. He can almost see the future. And so a lot of you could be having these like more futuristic ideas for your life or your business, whatever. And I would be embracing that energy because it'll probably make you like 1,000 times more successful with the King of Wands. The King, again, there is an element of courage in this reading. Fool, Nine of Wands, this card. So I would be, don't be afraid of taking a leap of faith. Next, in the area of messages from your future self, you have this ending card. It says loss, letting go, over, no death, irrevocable conclusions, afterlife, destruction, the end of a phase. Yeah, kind of. Eight of Cups. You have this courtship card. It says business or romantic meetings, social life, yes, early stages of love, parties, meetings, with friends, events. So again, everything I said on that Three of Cups. If you're looking for love, then I would definitely be spending time with friends. It seems like that's where you could be meeting a person. This could also be good for work. So if you're meeting new people who can support you, one of your last cards says ask for help. So getting help in work or business or career could really increase your career this week. Definitely some endings. Again, we talked about it with the Eight of Cups. You have the Ten of Cups, Seven of Pentacles, and the Temperance card. Ten of Cups is like fortune after difficulty, and it can also be happy home, happy family. So, if you're looking for love, you could be attracting a very solid connection. It's also just an amazing card for your community. The Three of Cups and the Ten of Cups are the two cards of community in the tarot. So if you are, looking for support, or, again, even if you're not, then I think spending time in the community would be a good idea. I think, again, the whole increase thing that I was talking about at the beginning of the reading, if you can do things to, gain followers, this might not be literally like on social media. This might be just in your personal life as well, right? I think it would be a great time to make new friends, meet new people, get new forms of support. All that would be very good. You have the Seven of Pentacles. Seven of Pentacles says, is the juice worth the squeeze? Is it worth it to work on the things that you're working on or not? I don't know. The King of Pentacles doesn't know either. And so it might be a good week for you to analyze what's going on in your life. One thing I will say is with Pluto going direct, that I think a lot of people could be feeling this energy because Pluto retrograde makes us look very, very deeply into things. Pluto retrograde wants us to get to the bottom of whatever it is that we're doing in life or wherever we're giving energy in life. And then when it goes direct, it's like we finally realize what we've been giving energy to, if it's worth it or if it's not worth it. And then, obviously when it goes direct, we make those changes. So, if there's anything you've been trying to figure out or get to the bottom of over the past many months, again, a lot of you could be doing that with the Seven of Pentacles. You have the Temperance card. Temperance, of course, is patience. Temperance, but sometimes I feel with the Temperance card that he's trying to be too perfect. And the Seven of Pentacles can be analysis paralysis, where you're, instead of taking action, you're analyzing something too much. And definitely with the Temperance card, I would say that's probably true. So if you're thinking about getting started on anything like a project, an idea, it's definitely time to get started. He has this path here. This is the path to glory. He could easily go down that path and claim his crown. You have that Royal You card. Clearly, it's time for Gemini to claim that crown, whatever that crown is for you, and it's time to, take action and grab onto something. The truth about the Temperance card is he has a fire triangle right here. And, the fire triangles are about action. They're about making moves, about, doing whatever you're saying that you can do. So I would. With the Ten of Cups, you have the Sun. Amazing. The Sun is the best card in the tarot. The Sun makes the whole entire reading more positive. The Sun is shining its light on the Ten of Cups. So the Sun is like a spotlight in a reading. It shines a light on something. And so clearly this week, people are going to be extremely important for you, Gemini, or getting support, or, asking for help, as your last card says, or accept help, actually, is what it says. Then, that's what's going to make your life easier at this time. So, don't be afraid of asking for help. With the Seven of Pentacles, you have the Queen of Cups. The Queen of Cups basically says your heart wants what your heart wants. She is following her heart. It's funny that you have the Three of Swords here. Three of Swords is coming up in the good stuff, so you could finally be healing your heart, or you could finally be forgiving something from the past, and that could be helping you get something that you want. The Queen of Cups has to follow her heart as well. With the Temperance card, you have the Seven of Cups, analysis paralysis, like I was saying. He's looking at all these cups, and, he's dreaming of one thing. He's dreaming of his dream, whatever that is. But there are good things and bad things in these cups. And he's just thinking too much about, what if this happens? What if that happens? Instead of just taking action and making something happen, right? And so I think it would be a really good time for you to, instead of just dreaming, to make something happen. That's where your success will come from with this card. Next, in the area of the good stuff, you have this Face Your Fears card and this Accept Help card. So, like we've been saying, the whole entire reading talks about your connection to other people. So asking for help, accepting help would be good. With the Fool, the Fool has to take the risk of taking a leap of faith, which he could be a little bit afraid of. Eight of Cups, same thing. On the Eight of Cups, he doesn't know if he's ever going to find fulfillment or not. But he just knows that he shouldn't be settling on where he is. So that could be part of the fear you're facing. It's coming up in the good stuff, so you're probably, it's probably going to be good. You have the Three of Swords, the Devil, and the Chariot. Three of Swords and the good stuff is about healing. With the Three of Swords, we have to forgive the past, and those swords are in our own heart, and we have to remove those swords from our heart so that we can heal and move forward. And a lot of you probably are focused on that. We have a ton of healing energy at the end of the year here, so I do think it is a good time for people to focus on healing. The Three of Swords can also represent a temporary situation. I feel for some of you, maybe like some weirdness in work, where it's like, maybe some weird things have been going on in work over the past few months. And I kind of feel that's clearing up with the Three of Swords. Like, that's the temporary situation that is being corrected. You have the Devil. The Devil, of course, can be toxic energy, but with the Three of Swords, it's coming up in the good stuff, so you're probably setting yourself free from things that have been keeping you stuck. Again, this kind of matches your astrology. Pluto going direct, even next month, Uranus going retrograde, Uranus finally retrograding into Taurus. It is retrograde right now. But, again, I think a lot of you could be separating away from things that have been toxic. I also feel that you're, believing in yourself more, with the Devil. Sometimes I feel the Devil can say that you're not believing in yourself enough, or you're not giving yourself enough credit. And I feel some of you are kind of releasing that control that the Devil has. Saturn is also retrograding in Pisces right now. So, you could be feeling that energy as well with this card. Next, you have the Chariot. The Chariot can be a victory or big win coming in for you. So some of you could be experiencing a big win with the Chariot, and obviously that would be a good thing. I think that you're probably going to get the Chariot quite a bit over the next many years because, again, with Uranus in your sign, you are definitely going to be setting yourself apart. And the whole point of the Chariot is to set yourself apart, to be unique, to stand out, and, all that other good stuff. So I kind of feel like you are, just setting yourself apart. With the Three of Swords, you have the Ace of Pentacles. Yeah, could be something that you nurture. Queen of Cups is a very nurturing energy. She has to nurture her heart, whatever her heart is telling her to do. The Ace of Pentacles is like planting a seed and getting it to grow. You have to nurture whatever this opportunity is. The Three of Swords could say that your heart is finally open to nurturing something like an idea, plan, a relationship, whatever it is. It's like you're finally ready. With the Devil, you have the Six of Cups. Yeah, this could represent a turnaround. Six of Cups can represent innocence and nostalgia, but the Six of Cups can be a gift from the universe, and it can say that we've been bumping up against an obstacle, and then when we get the Six of Cups, it can kind of say the obstacle is being removed. So a lot of you could be moving past some obstacles with this card. With the Chariot, you have the Ace of Swords, so that pretty much confirms it. The Chariot can be charging through obstacles. The Ace of Swords is overcoming an obstacle. The sword is above the mountains here, Gemini, and the sword being above the mountains represents overcoming an obstacle. Definitely showing up in the good stuff. This can absolutely say that you are overcoming an obstacle or having a big victory this week, and it definitely looks that way to me. The Ace of Swords is laser-like focus, and this is definitely something I think Gemini should pay attention to. I think Gemini especially should pick one thing and accomplish it, right? And make it your focus, whatever it is, a goal, wish, dream, whatever, a person, doesn't matter. Next, you have this bell card. It says announcement on it. You could be announcing something to a group of people. That could be good for you with this energy. And I also think just communication in general is going to be good for you. Next, you have this lily card. It says spiritual love on it. I feel like this is what you're looking for. There's definitely love for you, Gemini. this has been coming up for weeks. Not this card, but, all these love cards you've been getting. And you could be attracting a very strong spiritual connection. It could be any sign. Sometimes I think when I get 3 of the 4 kings, that it's basically saying you're attracting someone who is stepping into their emperor mode. Maybe it's maybe they're not there this second, but it's they're becoming an emperor. So definitely could be a strong connection. You have this broken ring. It says parting of the ways, either in romance or business. Yes, do not be afraid of those business changes. I don't think this is love. I feel for most of you with the 8 of Cups, maybe you're realizing where you settle in work, or, where you settle with clients and people you work with and things like that. And I feel a lot of you are kind of more deciding that you want to, get paid your worth, and you could be making those changes. You have this pail. It says time to get out of a situation. Yeah, with the devil, you could definitely be leaving something behind that no longer serves you, and that would be good. You have this vine. It says seek out information that will help you. Yes, Uranus in your sign for the next many years. Again, you are going to download a lot of really good ideas, but then after that, you're going to have to educate yourself on how to do it. So, don't be afraid of learning new things. And I would encourage you to learn anything new that could help you. But this looks pretty good, Gemini. I like it. So thank you for being here. Make sure to leave a comment. Really helps me out. And definitely enjoy your week.